You can jump in here, 617-779-7937. Did the Red Sox save their season yesterday? Is it stupid to keep asking this because you guys both thought they were done before the trade deadline?
I think it's kind of stupid to keep asking it because this is how I predicted that it was going to go for the rest of the summer, was that they were going to be up, they were going to win a couple series, and then they're going to be down. And it's just not enough for them. It's enough for a lot of other teams, but the particular race that they're in for that third wild card spot and the other teams around them and the way that the team is constructed is asking them to be almost perfect. And just the margins for errors. We talk about this with like less talented teams all the time. You just make it really, really difficult to get anywhere. And even in baseball, a sport that continues to make it easier to make the playoffs, they still can't. You know, if this was several years ago, we would say this team has no shot. They're done. They're toast. Put a fork in them. And so I look at it, and I don't want to take away from what the players are doing because there's a lot of stuff that is good building blocks for the next couple seasons. But do I think who the bullpen has shown themselves to be over the last two games is spelling out something drastically different than who they were for the stretch since the All-Star break? I don't. Like, I'm sorry. I think that this is where this team is. It's an insurmountable task in front of them with everything going against them.
Do you must, and this is how I felt yesterday, although they haven't even played a game, and they've already lost a half game, as Arcam pointed out yesterday. He's like, by the end of the day, they're going to be 3.5 out. I felt so much better about 3 than 4.5. Like, 3 to me feels manageable. And I know it's only like 2 games here, 2 games there. Royals lose back-to-back. You win back-to-back. You're back down to 3 games. But 3 feels so much more manageable than 4.5, which is almost 5, with a month plus to go. That just feels much more manageable. And the schedule does lighten up. For everybody in the Twitch chat, who pointed out the schedule is going to get tougher in August. Well, now it's about to get easier. They should be fattening up on the White Sox, the Mets, who are not playing well, Toronto. They do still have Arizona, and that series starts tomorrow night. So that's a team playing well. But after the Diamondbacks, there's a real stretch where they can fatten up. And so I think they saved their season. They felt like after that first loss against Houston, they were teetering. They had been swept by Houston. They just split with the Orioles. That's not winning, but that's a split with the Orioles. They beat the Astros, 2 of the better teams in the American League. And so if you can play with them and you can beat up on crappy teams, you can still sneak into a playoff spot. I'm not wagering on it. I'm not sitting here saying this team is definitely making the postseason. It's not a prediction, but I feel a lot better after those last 2 games in Houston than I did going in, which maybe is obvious to say, but I didn't think I'd feel that way about this team again.
I just can't. I can't be on that course of series to series who they are, and that's just the position that they're in. I think that they're going to get within 1 game behind, and that's kind of where they're going to end. It's going to be that close. That's where they're going to end the season.
I just don't fully trust Kansas City and Minnesota to be like, if the Red Sox cut it down to 1 game, not feel that pressure a little bit. And I know the Red Sox are a young team. It's not like this is David Ortiz and John Lester and guys like that, but I don't know that I fully trust Kansas City not to feel that pressure and to continue to play so well if the Red Sox are really applying pressure to them and breathing down their necks, but we'll see. I don't even want to tell you what Arkan said yesterday, Mego. You unveiled your take about the sound effects to the opening of the bullpen door.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of in on the bullpen now. Aren't you kind of in on the bullpen after yesterday?
A little bit. 2 games.
Isn't that wild?
2 games, and the bullpen's looked a lot better. It's 2 wins against Houston that they desperately needed, and the bullpen won those games.
Look, I'm admittedly swinging on a big pendulum here, but I am not going as far as you, where I'm like, now I'm somewhat sold on the bullpen.
I didn't say I was 100% sold on the bullpen, but those were 2 games they absolutely needed against the Houston Astros team that they are directly competing against, and the bullpen won both those games. Pivetta was bad on that game on Tuesday, and the bullpen locked it down. They were great in that game last night, too. Or yesterday afternoon, whatever it was. And I just, going against the Astros, I wasn't expecting that. Jansen gets killed by the Astros every time he pitches against them, no matter what team he's pitching for. So that was a pleasant surprise to me. Luis Garcia was good in those 2 games. And this is sort of a day-by-day thing here with this team. Each one of these games matters. And if the bullpen's going to go on a month-long in the crapper for a month, then I have to at least acknowledge when they win you a couple games. So they did. I mean, listen, I'm not sold on them. I'm not sold that the bullpen's fixed. But they looked a lot better in the last 2 games that they desperately needed.
I still think there's an opportunity that you could open the creaky haunted house door and you could have like a smoke come out and a bunch of bats escape.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you could let everyone know what's coming.
You know what? It's a good thing they didn't do that because the bullpen actually pitched well to Arkan's point the last couple of games.
They should like lean into it.
At Fenway.
Yeah,
maybe
scary.
Now they're back at Fenway starting tomorrow. They can do.
They're already calling themselves the zombie Red Sox. They are.
So
Write that
I
in
saw
the
Spear. I
book.
saw Spear call them that. I didn't know they were calling
No.
themselves that.
Bernardino called him that.
So you know what? I think you and I are guilty of the same thing. I saw that headline in the Globe, and I saw that Spear wrote it. I didn't read
They're
beyond that.
calling themselves that. They're like,
So the
we're
players-
cockroaches, or actually maybe zombies is better. We're zombies.